all of these people that are coming back are going to have to re-level all their guns because everything was taken away from the old game. They are going to absolutely need some kind of catch-up mechanic.
How are they going to handle new players coming back to the game? Cool, it's great we get the HDR, but is it going to have 50 levels and you got to level it all the way up?
Obviously, a lot of people are going to come back and have no loadouts, nothing ranked up, which is going to be a massive, massive problem.
They're going to load into the game and have absolutely 0 things leveled up. That means they're going to get absolutely smoked the first week or 2 on the game. Do you think they're going to want to keep playing this game?
Will Verdansk save Warzone? Could reintroducing this iconic map really have an impact? Most creators that I've seen, and even the comments going alongside it, have been a pretty unanimous no, unfortunately. There's even been leaks that if Verdansk doesn't perform, Warzone will be shut down into the future. But bringing back this classic map is a huge opportunity to recapture a former audience for the game. A game that was once very positive. In fact, more positive than I think almost anybody ever thought was possible. But they definitely fumbled a massive opportunity to really create, I think, the end-all, be-all battle royale. Whereas something like Fortnite has performed remarkably well for how long that game has been out. And now Call of Duty's taking a page out of their book. A similar move was made from Fortnite back in 2023. They returned to the OG map. That led to the game breaking its record player count in just 1 day. And keep in mind, that's with them just having an easy entry point into the game. Call of Duty, all of these people that are coming back are going to have to re-level all their guns because everything was taken away from the old game. They are going to absolutely need some kind of catch-up mechanic. If they want any of these older returning players to come back and actually stay with the game, because they're going to get obliterated by people who have continued to play the game for the last 5 years, have everything unlocked, have all the meta weapons, are willing to spend the $30, $40 to get the Black Cell Battle Pass, instantly level up to get the new weapon, max that weapon out, or just purchase all those attachments off of the store, right? Like, that is such a bad experience, and I have been yelling about this since the original Modern Warfare, even with how hard it is to level up and grind every gun as they do a shift, etc. And I honestly don't think a double XP weekend it does the trick. The whole grind process is not even fun as it is. It never has been. And while they do need to have a really good launch and first impression for all these people that are coming back, I just don't think that's going to be the reality here. As everybody's been echoing across the game pretty much, the map alone was not the core thing that made this game what it was or will bring it back to its glory. My expectations are so low for it. In fact, they're the lowest they've ever been. I think the launch is going to go bad. There's going to be a ton of pay-to-win elements on it that are not going to have proper mechanics for people that are coming back to be reintroduced to the series. I think they probably will need more time. I think, just like always, they're going to need another couple seasons to get it where it's at, and at that point, everybody's going to already be gone and moved on. But I will say, personally, as somebody who is pretty ready for it, I'm excited to at least see the map and to be back there again. Even if this is the point where Call of Duty Warzone dies, I'd be more excited to have it stay on Verdansk, where I can go back and see that, versus it being on Urzikstan. And while I do think this is the shot to get people onto the wave, I'm not actually expecting that to be the outcome.
Some of the biggest concerns that people have still about Ricochet and whether the anti-cheat will do anything. Most people are not optimistic because they shouldn't be. Even though a bunch of cheat providers are getting shut down, that doesn't really matter if the anti-cheat still sucks. Somebody will make a new cheat that gets around the anti-cheat if the anti-cheat's not particularly good. So hopefully that's good. The other part is, like, how are they going to handle new players coming back to the game when it comes to the weapon leveling? Cool, it's great we get the HDR, but is it going to have 50 levels and you got to level it all the way up? It's cool we're going to have the kilo, but is it going to have that VOK? Is it going to still feel and have that recoil pattern? A lot of things that we got away from when we switched from Warzone 1's engine, if you want to call it that, to Warzone 2, there's a lot of different visual fidelity that got lost. There's tons of stuff that got graphical improvements, but in terms of like clarity and sharpness, there's a lot that got lost. And I think a lot of that has to do with just anti-aliasing for old gen consoles. I think that this is starting to generate hype. I wouldn't necessarily get the full-on hype just yet. I think there's still so much that they need to discuss, cover, prove before we're like, yeah, we're back. I don't really think that it'll be something that anyone can say for a while, but hopefully this is like the juice that we need. I am looking forward to playing because obviously Verdansk is a great map, but they still got to dial in some few bugs here and there and the anti-cheat, and we could be cooking.
Obviously, it's going to be not the same. It's not going to be the same, and it's going to be fun. I'm optimistic about at least trying to have fun with it and just, get to at least go back and play the map. I'm grateful for that. Obviously, there's, we all know the issues with COD and whether they're going to deliver or not is... The track record's not good, but, I'm at least excited to go and get to run through the same streets and go to Superstore and go to hospital. It'd be fun and squat up with the boys and just have some OG fun. I'm looking forward to it. Pace difference between COD now and then is like, it's inevitable. It's like Fortnite. You guys remember, like, everyone says they loved OG Fortnite, right? And that's obvious because, like, that's back when everyone was a noob and it was a fresh game and a fresh feel. So, like, everyone's kind of on the same playing field. Now, obviously, the pace of Warzone and COD is just on a whole nother level. So many people were coming back, especially during the pandemic, because they had nothing better to do. Were coming back to COD that hadn't played COD in years. Some people probably never played it and came and played Warzone for the first time. So think about the difference in pace and player base back then. Like, it's so different now. Obviously, the player base is a lot more diehard because of the shit you have to go through to play this game in the first place. It's obviously enough to put someone in a mental asylum. I should be put into one. But anyway, that's besides the point.
I want you guys to imagine somebody that hasn't played the game in about 3 to 4 years and is coming back for Verdansk. They're going to load into the game and have absolutely 0 things leveled up. That means they're going to get absolutely smoked the first week or 2 on the game. Do you think they're going to want to keep playing this game? The solution to this, and I think JGOD made a really good point here, why not make the default loadouts whenever you go and buy a loadout be any type of quote-unquote meta loadout? Pick the most used guns in the game and make them a loadout, so that way at least players coming in can just go and buy a loadout and at least use something that is meta. This would make it to where the new players will come play and actually have a chance against players who've been grinding the game. This is just one of many fixes, but in my opinion, weapon leveling should just be done with completely. If you unlock a weapon, when it comes to Warzone, you should just be able to have all the attachments. Nostalgia is only going to get you so far. Yes, nostalgia will bring a bunch of players back to the game, but what will actually keep them here? And I think it's trying to provide as many updates as possible to keep improving off of Verdansk's return. I want you guys to remember Nakatomi Tower. That is one of the most fond memories that I personally have with Verdansk. It was super dope to land into a hot drop where there was so many players all fighting for one thing: specialist bonus. It was a high risk, high reward. You go in, you know you're gonna get gunfights, and if you come out on top, you leave with something super special. I think that was something that was really cool that was added to the gameplay loop that I haven't seen in a while. I do think this is also very important, is that Verdansk needs to feel like a BR again. And I'm not talking PUBG BR. I'm talking Call of Duty's version of a BR. I think this is one of the most underrated things when it comes to Call of Duty. And I personally don't even think Call of Duty knows how good we had it back in the day. It was a perfect mix between multiplayer and actual BR. On this end, if you had crazy tactical PUBG, and then on this end, you had multiplayer where you don't have to value your life, Warzone was somewhere in the middle. And I think we've lost that over the years. Look at the current Extend now. You have possibly the most amount of ways to come back in any BR. You have buybacks, you have gulag tokens, you have flares, you have redeploy packs, and then not even to mention all the redeploy balloons that make BR not feel like BR. So here are the things that I would do. 150 players, remove all ways to redeploy, and make your life actually matter. I remember how crazy it felt to be the one person that wins out of 149 other players. I hope they remove every single way to redeploy, you rely on cars to move around, and give it that BR feel again.
Season 3, if they're going to bring back Verdansk, it kind of makes you think, oh, we're going to push it back a month. They were just going to push it out as like an additional map, and then they probably thought, you know what? We should probably put some thought into this and correct some things, which then makes you think, damn, they're really not on board, are they? We'll see. We'll see how Verdansk feels.
Now, obviously, I don't think anybody with truly a right mind believes that this Warzone is going to save the game, because nothing is going to hit like 2020 Warzone when everybody was stuck inside with COVID. That's not going to happen, but it is going to bring a lot of people back. And I think besides having, Verdansk again, which everybody's going to love, and I think that just having that map again is going to be fun, it doesn't fix all the core issues with cheaters and anti-cheats, servers, and just things like that a lot of people aren't going to like. Obviously, a lot of people are going to come back and have no loadouts, nothing ranked up, which is going to be a massive, massive problem. But there's going to be so many factors that go into the game that isn't just like Verdansk. I think that's like a band-aid over a much bigger problem in the game, and I just don't see it actually saving the game. It's going to be a lot of fun. but I don't think it's gonna have people sticking around for long. As I'm playing games now on Urzikstan, I just feel like the big map and stuff is just a glorified resurgence mode. If you land in, there's flares, there's gulag tokens, there's redeploy packs, portable buys. It doesn't feel like a true BR anymore. Obviously, if you were trying to play on small map, you can do that, have quick games, fly around, have fun. But I miss the early games of Verdansk where you had to actually use your brain. Now I can land in, buy a quick little gulag token for 4K. Sometimes in the gulag, I find 20K. So I can land in, load out gulag token and fly around with zips, which is a whole separate topic. I hope those aren't in Verdansk at all for a while. But I feel like it's just a glorified resurgence and not a true BR. Back in Verdansk in the OG days, it could be either a skill issue or just true kind of game sense and knowledge. You actually had to play the game like a BR, rotate early, use vehicles, and now I feel like it's just kind of an unfair advantage where I can take zips, just land on team's forehead, and just play like a meathead. Hope that changes. That's my number one thing, obviously, for a lot of people. Now, obviously, in the last blog post we saw from Call of Duty, they did say they're doing a lot of stuff to update the anti-cheat. So I don't know. At this point, I just truly believe that the whole freaking Ricochet anti-cheat is just a myth. And I'm not gonna believe they're actually fixing stuff until I experience it and see it in game, hoping that they can make it the best launch possible. I think obviously servers are still going to be bad with so many people coming back. There's going to be issues, and I don't think there's ever been a time in Warzone's history there's not been bugs. But I'm still going to be excited to play, obviously, for content-wise. We've been playing Urzikstan for the last 2 years, and I'm just over that map. I gotta be honest, I'm excited to have Verdansk back. But I think for a lot of people, it's going to be different. One, because it's not 2020 COVID, but because the game mechanics are so different. Even with Omni movement, the default settings for a person coming back for the first time are horrible. People are going to hate on Omni movement because of how bad the default settings in the game are. But I think that it's going to come down to, do people want to play Call of Duty anymore? There's obviously a lot of new games, Marvel Rivals, other games coming out, Battlefield even, that people might be trying to move on from Call of Duty for, but I don't think anything is gonna ever bring back those 2020 vibes with Verdansk. Either way, Verdansk is soon to be back. The anti-cheat, it's gonna be cooked.